Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating and frankly intense piece of hidden history. We're going to unpack the real-life events sitting right at the center of a massive modern-day cinematic controversy. We're talking systemic cover-ups, explosive truths, and one ordinary guy's absolute refusal to back down. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. A 2-day movie ban. Let's start with the modern-day controversy surrounding the recent movie release Sutlej, starring Diljit Dosanjh.
It's a pretty wild contrast. The creators of this film fought an exhausting, nail-biting 3-year legal battle just to secure permission to release it to the public. 3 whole years navigating the courts. But despite all that, once it finally dropped, it was completely banned in India within just 48 hours. 3 years of fighting wiped out in 2 days. So naturally, you've got to ask yourself, what on earth is in this movie? What historical reality does it actually depict that is still considered so sensitive, so explosive today, that it gets slapped with a nationwide ban the second it sees the light of day? To figure that out, we have to look back at the historical context. Section 2, Punjab in the 80s. To truly understand the ban, our source material takes us back to a highly volatile era in the region during the 1980s and 90s. According to the source, in the name of stamping out terrorism, the state shifted its approach drastically. The police were granted absolute, unchecked power. And the government? Well, they essentially turned a blind eye to how that power was being wielded on the ground. And when you mix absolute power with zero oversight during a state of panic, it is a recipe for absolute disaster. This source details a really grim reality here. Ordinary Sikh youth were being picked up by authorities based on nothing but suspicion. This completely unchecked power fueled a whole system of illegal kidnappings and what were termed fake encounters. Young men would be taken from their homes, and then they'd just never return. Gone. Section 3, the missing bank employees. This brings us to the story of the film's real-life protagonist, Jaswant Singh Khalra. Now, the most remarkable thing about Khalra, according to the source, is who he wasn't. He wasn't some powerful politician pulling strings. He wasn't a gangster or an armed militant. He was literally just an ordinary bank director living a totally normal, quiet life, far removed from the centers of state power. But that normal life was completely shattered. The catalyst for his incredible journey happened when the terror hit way too close to home. 2 of his friends, just ordinary colleagues from the bank, suddenly disappeared at the hands of the police. One day they're at work, and the next poof, they vanish into this terrifying system. Searching for his innocent buddies, Khalra made a choice that literally changed history. He decided to risk everything, his career, his safety, his own life, just to expose this massively powerful and corrupt system. He didn't just want to find his friends. He wanted to rip the curtain back on exactly what the government was hiding. Section 4. Uncovering the cremation records. To take on an entire state apparatus, Khalra bypassed the official PR statements and went straight to the source, digging into government records from cremation grounds. What those records revealed is honestly chilling. It was a highly organized mechanical process. First, kidnap on suspicion. Second, kill the victim in a staged fake encounter. Third, officially label the body as lawaris, which means unclaimed. And finally, cremate them in secret. By burning the bodies immediately, they instantly turn all the physical evidence to ash. Looking at that cold, calculated process, you really gotta wonder, why? What was the actual motive here? Why would law enforcement officers go to such horrific lengths to systemize the disappearance of everyday citizens? Well, it came down to a deeply perverse incentive structure. According to the source, corrupt officers were actually incentivized with government cash rewards and fast-tracked promotions for eliminating these alleged threats. Basically, they traded innocent lives for career bumps, and by labeling the victims unclaimed and burning them, they wiped out the evidence, keeping the whole system safe. Section 5. The 25,000 unclaimed bodies. And this brings us right to the core focus of the film and of our explainer today. 25,000. Through his relentless digging into those cremation records, Khalra arrived at a terrifying estimate. Roughly 25,000 bodies were illegally and secretly cremated in this exact manner across Punjab during this era. Think about that number for a second. 25,000 citizens just wiped from existence, labeled as unclaimed, all to fuel a twisted system of rewards and promotions. The movie Sutlej exists to honor this exact history. It honors how an ordinary bank employee, armed with nothing but paper records and just insane courage, put everything on the line. He didn't do it for fame. He did it to fight for justice, for the grieving mothers, the sisters, the families left behind, waiting endlessly for sons and brothers who were never coming home.
Which brings us right back to where we started. Looking at the modern-day ban of the film Sutlej, we're left with a pretty profound question. When a single person uncovers a truth this massive, can it ever truly be banned? I mean, can censoring a movie actually erase the historical reality that Jaswant Singh Khalra gave his life to expose? It's a heavy reminder of how the courage of one individual leaves a legacy that completely outlasts any attempt to silence it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning everything.